Hello, everybody, and welcome to Chart Request Live. Today is June 9th, and my name is Sam Gatlin. I'm joined by my esteemed colleague and co-host, Mr. Alfonso de Pablo, coming to us live from the UK. How's it going, Alfonso?
Hey Sam, hey everybody. Very happy to be here. Yeah, as you said, I'm here in the UK for a couple months, visiting my sister, enjoying the time here in Europe, and very excited to bring some chart with you to see some charts, some ideas, some levels, and we can discuss it with everybody.
Totally. This is the show where all of the viewers bring the tickers and we chart them out for them live on the show. And we also take mailbag requests for those that email us their tickers at questions@stockmarketmedia.com. We have a full mailbag to get to today, Alfonso. But first, I'd like to talk about small caps ripping out of this inverted head and shoulders pattern.
Beautiful.
Beautiful, right? And short interest is at new multi-year highs in the small caps. And I'm just going to mark up the right shoulder here. And you can see that we're pretty decisively with two breakaway gaps getting away from this reversal pattern. So I think this one is on its way towards this November peak, which coincides with the prior cycle peak from November of 2021. Like small caps are a huge place to keep an eye on right now, as well as speculative growth stocks. So this is kind of the poster child of speculative tech. This is the ARK Innovation ETF. It also resolved a similar bottoming formation and high and tight bull flag here. And then on Friday, just an absolute god candle out of there, Alfonso. So I think ARK has its highest short interest ever right now. So I think the squeeze is really on in the small caps and the speculative tech. And then before we jumped on the show, I was asking Alfonso what's on his mind, and he mentioned the AST Space Mobile stock here. And boy,
That's
is this one on the move, Alfonso. This looks good.
I mean, look, I have been waiting for this move for months. After a parabolic rise in 2024, we have spent 9 months in a tight range, in a very well-defined range. And now prices, reclaiming that pivot from the all-time highs with authority. And what I like most about this setup is if you drop VWAP from the all-time low on the all-time highs, as you have it, you will see like a VWAP pinch setup there. It was about time to resolve in either direction. Right now, it's resolving higher. We're seeing follow through. Today, the stock is up 15%, and I really like it. And the upside potential is huge. And this one, at least this week and last week, has been one of my favorite stocks to watch and to trade, to be honest. So I can't complain.
I love it. This one's an absolute beast. And don't undersell that this one was a 19 bagger in just a few weeks off that April 2024 low. I mean, this one is, it's kind of ironic that this one is in the space business because, the stock's kind of a rocket ship,
Yeah, exactly. It's men in this day, so
Cool. What should we talk about, Alfonso? What's in the mailbag?
look, but before that, I like what you said in the intro about ARK, about small caps. I'm looking also small caps on a relative basis. If you compare IWM relative to IWB, that's the Russell 1000. And if you look at this ratio, if you zoom out a little bit, you often, you tend to see, for example, in 2020, previous, 2016. Small caps outperforming at least for a short-term period, right? And I think we might be entering that period of small caps outperforming and taking on and assuming some leadership role relative to large cap. And I think that will be very, very healthy, and we will be in that scenario where these animal spirits and high beta names underneath the market cap scale will do very, very good. I think we could see something like that On an absolute basis, as you mentioned, we already reclaim and complete that head and shoulders pattern. If you drop the big wave from the all-time highs, it also reclaim that level. So right now, bulls are in control in the IWM, and I really like it. I really like it, and I think it's very positive, and I think the market need it. So that's my opinion on IWM.
Well, I love how that VWAP coincides with these former highs. I mean, this is just such a clean level. If this one's gapping and going above that, Alfonso, the V is so on with the small caps. I think this one's just going to V higher right back to that 340 level. This looks incredible.
Yeah, I mean, it's a matter of, it's catching up, right? If you look at
Yeah.
industrials, it was the first sector, the large cap sector, to complete the V and make new all-time highs. And I think the rest of the market will follow industrials. That's where my head is at.
Yeah, industrials. They were the leader at the very beginning of, I don't know if we call it this bull market, the prior bull market, the bull market off the 2022 lows. That's what I'm trying to say.
No,
They were an early leader.
they have been a leader, and also when the market corrected back in late March, early April, industrials never retest the prior cycle highs, for example,
Yeah.
and they were showing some relative strength, and now look, it's the first sector to break out to new all-time highs.
That's such a great point, Alfonso. A lot of things retested their prior cycle highs. Industrials did not. Let's zoom out on this and just show what you're talking about here. So a lot of indexes and stocks found support at this 2021 shelf of former highs. Some of them go all the way to 2022. The S&P, the Nasdaq 100, the Dow Industrial Average all retested this key level. Industrial does not. They just barely undercut last year's lows. And now it's off to the races once again. Industrials, relative strength. Let's
Yeah.
look at the ratio too. Industrials relative to the S&P 500. So these look kind of weak here, Alfonso, if I'm being honest. Running
Yeah.
into these former highs. You want to see a decisive breakout here in relative terms.
Yeah, of course. I mean, at the end of the day, we're running into key resistance on a relative basis.
Yeah.
But on an absolute basis, it's looking very good. It's looking very good. There are some areas of strength like aerospace and defense outperforming. A lot of good looking charts are there.
Yeah,
Um,
I was looking at this chart earlier, Alfonso. I mean, holy cow.
I mean,
These stocks moved.
it's been it's going vertical. So
Yeah, to say the
so
least. Even Boeing's not sucking anymore. Look at Boeing making new 52-week highs here. I mean, it's Boeing. This company sucks. All of these aerospace and defense stocks are working. I mean, look at this long-term chart of Boeing. This thing sucks, but it's making new 52-week highs, going vertical.
yeah,
So,
yeah. It's hard to argue against that, to be honest.
yeah. Let's get to the mailbag, Alfonso. What do you
Yeah,
say?
let's start with JD. Jazz is asking us about JD.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the JD. So this is a, let's see, almost $50 billion Chinese internet retail stock. You know, it's fine, but I would like to look at JD relative to the FXI.
Hmm.
And it's just a huge underperformer, Alfonso. If
Yeah,
you want to invest in China, you have enough risk going on there. Like the government could just delist your stocks anytime they want to, and all these companies have fake financials. And you know how you have all those concerns about investing in China. And if you want to do that, you want to outperform, you want to get paid for that risk, and you're not getting paid in JD.
yeah,
It's making new multi-year lows relative to the broader Chinese market. So if you want to buy China, Just buy the FXI. Don't buy
Yeah,
a loser like JD.
yeah, I like the FX side more. You're reducing that individual risk, right?
Yeah,
But by buying that ETF, and it's cleaner. It's resolving higher from a classic bearish to bullish reversal pattern. It reclaimed the VWAP from the all-time highs, and you have your risk level very well defined at around what 34. So I think as long as we're above 34, I like the 34, 33 area. I think the path of this resistance is higher for Chinese equities. They were like a leader in early this year and late last year. Um, but yeah, I like the ETF much better than the JD in this case.
totally. And like, I'm happy to take on some risk. Like, I'm happy to buy a Chinese stock that could go away overnight. I accept that risk, but I just want to get paid for it, Alfonso. So
Yeah, I
that's
mean,
JD is just a huge laggard. But you're
yeah,
totally right. China is working. It's been a huge outperformer. It outperformed the US all year last year.
yeah. But the big theme here is the relative trend that you showed. It's been underperforming, making new lows relative to the FX side. So there is no much to say about this one.
Yeah. Let's move on, Alfonso. What do you say?
Yeah, let's take a look. Jeff is asking us about the TTWO.
Take two. Let's pull it up here. This is a video game stock, and it is worth, let's see, $41.5 billion. So I like to look at this long-term chart because what a move this one had off of
Mm-hmm.
those great financial crisis lows in March of 2009. It rallied like almost 4,000%, pretty much just in a secular uptrend. You had a few drawdowns, but nothing too severe. Take Two was an absolute beast until it peaked in early 2021 and
Yep.
got kind of crushed. It had a, let's see, this was a 57, 58% drawdown, but here it is making new all-time highs. So, yeah, I think
Beautiful base.
it's a beautiful base, Alfonso, no doubt about it.
And
So
when I look at
let's
the chart like
continue.
that, Sam, the fact that you can define risk so easily, right at the prior cycle highs around 215, it makes things easier. It makes our job easier. So this is a beautiful base breakout here. As long as we're about 215, the path of the resistance is higher. I think 300 is next, and I like it.
Totally. And I've been talking about esports a lot. I just tweeted
Ooh.
out a chart of ESPO earlier today, but esports and gaming has been absolutely on fire recently. And so it's not just Take Two, but it's just the entire industry is booming right now, and Take Two is benefiting from that. And they're not even the best stock in this universe. But they
Is
are a good
is
one. I like that chart.
is Roblox in this ETF?
Yeah, Roblox is one of the biggest components.
Yo,
Uh,
and not only the biggest one of the biggest components, right? But one of the best charts out there.
yeah, it's
Look at
awesome.
that! Look that chart. Look at that chart. I mean, it doubled basically since the April lows. It doubled. It's
Yeah,
been
so
a,
this is what you're
it's
talking
been a
about
leader.
right here. This
It's
move,
been a leader.
yeah. And this move has also decisively resolved a bearish to bullish reversal pattern that took years to resolve. So, I don't think this is the end of a move. I think this is just the beginning of a much bigger move for Roblox that probably takes it to new all-time highs.
Yeah, I think so. I
And this
think
is
so.
a $63 billion stock too, Alfonso. Roblox, $63 billion. And that's crazy. Um, I would have never guessed that would happen, but Nintendo, also a huge winner. So they have an OTC version of Nintendo. This one's almost $100 billion.
Mhm.
And look at this long-term chart. I mean,
Beautiful chart.
beautiful chart, right? New all-time highs for Nintendo.
No,
What else do
very
we
nice.
have, Alfonso?
Next, we have a request from Danny. RKT and MBLY time period is long term 6 month plus.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the rocket. I think you need this is in there with homies, ATB. You know, if homies are going to suck and continue to resolve this massive top, you know,
Hmm.
Rocket's not going to be doing well. It's just it might be one of the best vehicles in a bad pond right now. So, like, you could look at Rocket relative to ITB, and you know, there's really not even a whole ton of outperformance there from Rocket. It's just gone sideways. So, I really don't think Rocket's that interesting.
Look, what I like about the rocket chart is how tight it's getting. That's
Yeah,
the only thing right now that I like.
that's true. You have had some pretty tight weekly candlesticks here. I mean, look at all these dojis right at this 38.2 retracement. So, I mean, you could be a buyer here looking to trade it back up towards the 61.8 retracement. Not saying there's not a
Yeah,
trade here, but you know, this thing, it's just a mess. I would rather stay away from it personally.
yeah, I would rather stay away from that. But if you want to trade, looking for an expansion in volatility, I will drop a VWAP from this pivot high from 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 last year, from summer last year, and the cycle lows from October 2022. And it's getting very tight. So those two VWAPs are converging, and I think we have some, like a VWAP pinch situation
Mm.
here. So
That's a great
that's
point,
the,
Alfonso. That's
yeah,
interesting.
yeah, that's the way I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Yeah, this one could easily go to $20, you know, if it breaks out of here.
I know.
It could happen very fast too. I mean, look at
Yeah,
how this one moved back in late 2023 to that, yeah, almost beginning of 2024, and it doubled in just like 2 months. So
yeah. I like
it can
that
easily happen
it's
again.
a pattern on this one. That's only what I like. But how about MBOY?
So this is Mobile Eye. I believe this is from Israel. This is a $13 billion stock. It is from Jerusalem, Israel. Look at
Yep.
me. I'm good.
Nice.
I know my Israeli stocks, so let's drop the WAP from the IPO back in 2022. And as you can see, that comes in, let's draw this a little bit better, but it comes in right at that 38.2 retracement level. So I think this is going to be a huge, huge level of interest, this $25. So keep an eye out on that from a
Yeah,
higher level perspective.
still has work to do.
It still has work to do. I think you could, if you have a reason to be bullish on this one, which I personally don't know much about this situation, so I don't know what's going on fundamentally with Mobileye, but you know, just from a long-term technical perspective, this is just a huge, huge mess, and I think we could also look at Mobileye relative to the ARK Israel ETF and see the same story. You know, just a huge mess. It's gotten crushed since it went public. Maybe this is a long-term reversal pattern, but it's likely to take much, much longer, in my opinion. Probably a
Yeah,
year, 6 months of basing out.
yep.
And then you
That's
could
how
buy
it
the
looks.
resolution. But
Yeah, that's how it looks. It's I think it's in the early stages of a reversal pattern there, and it needs more work to do.
for sure. Yeah,
Now,
Israeli stocks though, very strong. I like
yeah.
Israel.
Well, yeah. I mean, the ETF is it's making new all-time highs. The EIS It's making new all-time highs, breaking out of above the 2021 highs. They have been looking very good.
Absolutely. Yeah. A lot of relative strength there.
Hmm.
That one was not relative strength. Mobileye. Thumbs down for the Mobileye. What else, Alfonso?
Let's take a look at FBRR.
Okay. Getting crushed today. So
Getting crushed today, yeah.
Fiverr's a $1 billion data processing company. Also from Israel.
Nice. A
To
lot of
point that out.
Israeli stocks here.
Hey, Israel's shown a lot of relative strength, and people are noticing. I mean, our
Mhm.
crowd, they pay attention, Alfonso. We get great ticker requests in here. They don't mess around. But I do think the Fiverr, like we were talking about with the Mobileye earlier, it just needs more time. This looks like the latter stages of a bearish to bullish reversal pattern, but I want to see a breakout. I want to get involved when the momentum is there and it's ready to make a new leg higher. Right now the path of least resistance is sideways here for,
Yeah, it is a Cyrus mess, to be honest.
but
I
I would
will,
totally be a buyer above that VWAP anchored to the all-time high. Totally.
yeah, but I mean, I will even being, I can be a little bit more bullish if we can reclaim, I don't know, like 35, 36. Think that could be, a
Yeah.
good first step, but we have also some barriers around 46 with a pivot high from February of 2023, then the big one from the all-time highs, but just getting some levels to see how maybe you can just jump if you want. But so far we're below these key levels, and the path of the resistance, as you said, is sideways.
Totally. I like to call this the investor pattern, Alfonso.
The
Now, this
investor
is a
pattern.
Yeah, this is a great pattern for investors to buy. If you have a reason to be fundamentally bullish on Fiverr, then buying on strength above that 36 and just accumulating shares for months, potentially years down here before it enters that primary uptrend.
Yeah.
And those are the types of people I think of when I see a chart like this. But for me, I want to see at least a breakout above like that 47 to 48 level, then really let the momentum kick in.
Yeah, I think that I think if we get that breakout above 47, 40, 48, I think that would be like the confirmation of a valid trend reversal underway. But it needs more time. It needs more
Totally.
time. And how about if we take a look at UPST? Daniel was asking us, what are your thoughts on UPST? Looking for a 3-month long, currently breaking out of the big up anchored to the all-time highs and the February 2025 local highs. And we have a right bow rising 200-day moving average. And a lot of short interest, by the way, on this one.
Yeah, I was just about to mention that, Alfonso. You have
You drop
25%.
you drop a new freshly squeezed report today. I saw it. I
Yeah,
love that stock that you mentioned it. And this one it's shaping up very nicely too. And I like the big one from the all-time highs. I think you can, you can jump on a breakout of this reversal base using that VWAP. 55, it's the level. I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all.
totally, Alfonso. And this one can really move. When this one's trending, I mean, look out. Like, so this one from its August 2024 low to its December 2024 peak rallied 330%, Alfonso. So,
Mhm.
you know, it also corrects very severely. So you want to take your profits. For me personally, I would get involved here at this VWAP traded up to this February peak, expecting some type of corrective wave from there. And then I think a new trade sets itself up
Yeah,
above $100. Then you can really start thinking about targets up near 400 on
400.
that
Yeah.
prior cycle peak.
And
So,
look, I mean,
this one's
yeah,
shaping up really, really nicely.
And these moves can be wild, can happen fast. If you look at the short interest, 25%. So if we get some momentum in the following days, look, I mean, a squeeze can start. So I like it. I like it, to be honest.
Totally. And the risk is so well defined there at that VWAP. You're risking what, $2 right now? So
Yeah,
that's pretty good risk reward.
yeah,
Two
I like it.
dollars to make what is it? 350 points.
Hmm.
That's not bad.
It's not bad.
What else do we have, Alfonso?
Joe is asking us about the Broadcom. I know it had earnings last week. Maybe talk to us about that, Sam, and how the chart is looking. Very well defined risk level.
Totally, Alfonso. So this one, let's see. Let me pull up my data on the other screen. This one had its best earnings reaction ever recently. So that was Q4 of 2024 right here.
Right, that gap,
This one
right?
rallied 24.5% in a single session. And then it followed through the next day, another 11.25%. And that really has been the peak since then. We tried to break out a few days before that earnings report, but the double beat was not enough, Alfonso. It's thrown it back into the range, and Avgo remains below that 250 resistance level. But I do think this one is really emerging as one of the best semiconductor companies in the world. I'm talking about it with the likes of NVIDIA and Taiwan Semiconductor,
Well, look, it's a
ASML.
1.1 trillion
Yeah,
market cap.
this is a
It's huge.
Magnificent Seven stock.
Exactly.
And
It's
yeah,
huge.
here it is relative to NVIDIA, which admittedly is the greatest semiconductor stock of all time. But here's Avgo trying to carve out some type of reversal pattern relative to it, and then just in absolute terms, Avgo has been such a winner over longer time frames, and it's much less um, cyclical than NVIDIA. They have a lot more software revenue coming in, so the drawdowns aren't quite as severe in the bear markets, so I really like that aspect of Broadcom too. Yeah, this one's going to keep compounding for years and years and years. So I think this last earnings report is really just noise in the long term scheme of things. This company is an absolute beast. I think you can buy this one on strength above that 250. But
250.
yeah,
250 is the level. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Couldn't agree more. I like it. If not, leave it alone. It's in a sideways mess. You can find other chances over there.
Totally. Let's move on, Alfonso. Let's get
Yeah,
to
let's start
a
with
few
some
more.
tickers from chat. Let's start with H-Chan with CVLT.
So what do we have here? We've got Commvault Systems. This is a $8.4 billion software stock. This one's coming to us from New Jersey. Shout out New Jersey. Spencer Israel, if you're out there in the metaverse somewhere. Shout out New Jersey. This one is a beast. I mean, what can you say, Alfonso?
Mhm.
Beautiful uptrend here after its IPO. It had a little IPO or post IPO dump during the Great Financial Crisis. Then it rallied. It was an 11 bagger for the next 5 years or so. And since it bottomed in March of 2020, this one's been almost seven bagger. And
Nice.
it's just a beast. This is what software stocks do. They go up a lot. And yeah, I like using the fib retracements or the Fibonacci extensions from this September or October 2013 peak to that 2016 low.
I like it. I have it the same way. And well, prices right there below the 261 extension, right below 190. I think the next target could be 290. And if you measure the move from the lows from the 2020 toward that target, it will give you a potential 10 bagger on this one, similar to the prior cycle,
That's
right?
awesome, Alfonso. I love that.
So
Cool. So
I'm not saying
290 for the
I'm
comp
not
vault.
saying that will happen, but I already did, right? Like 15 years ago.
Right. Totally. Yeah, I love this. This is a beast. Comp vault. So I'm honestly not too familiar with this one. So yeah, they have 81% gross margins. Software is the best business out there, Alfonso. I mean,
Yep.
how many companies can have gross margins of 81%? That's crazy. I love this chart. Shout out. Was it H Chan who brought this one along?
Yeah. HN.
Cool. Great eye, H Chan. This is really interesting. You want to get to one more and wrap this show up, Alfonso?
Yeah, let's do in the chat. Let's see. Which one do you prefer? Okay, you will pick it, Sam. You
Okay.
prefer CMP, microtechnology, Uber, Toast, Solana, or Robinhood?
Hmm. Man, for me, Toast is really interesting. There
Let's
was
do Toast.
a lot of good ones there, but Toast. I mean, so this company turned EBITDA positive right here in late 2024, and then it completed a textbook bearish to bullish reversal pattern. Now here it is. This is a key retracement level, I believe.
Yep.
If you fib it out, this will probably come in as the 61.8 or just a little bit higher. So if I just redrew it like this, yeah, that's a super clean level there. That 45 on the toast. I think this one could be a new secular leader inside of software. You know, this company is completely reinventing technology inside of the restaurant industry, and they're doing it with some of the biggest players out there. Ton of growth potential. It just turned EBITDA positive. Toast above 45. I'm looking at 66 and then
So
99
clean.
after that. So
It's
I
so
like this a
clean.
lot inside
And
of
what I
software.
like and what I like about this one, last year it popped up in our scan in the hot corner with a big insider purchase by David Juan. He has been in Toast board since March 2019, and he stepped in with a lot of money. And that's what they tend to do, as you mentioned before. You know, this kind of patterns are the investor's pattern, right? So
I love that.
there are
I'm
multiple
rubbing off
ways.
on you now, Alfonso.
Look, I mean, I like it. I like it. I like that term. And look, there are multiple reasons an executive or the CEO of a company will sell their stocks, right? But there is only one reason they will buy it. So that reason is that they believe the stock deserves to go up. And this guy has been in the company since May 2023, right in that massive sideways mess. And now, the stock is grinding higher. And if we reclaim with authority above 45, or above that 61 retracement level, I think ultimate highs is earnings. So
Totally.
I
And
like
this is
it.
also a $25 billion software company. Like, I think this could be one of the largest software companies in the entire world.
Look, the upside potential, it's huge for software companies. So
Should
very
we end
nice.
on this one?
Let's do one more real quick.
Cool.
Wavy CMP. That's the ticker. Let's do it. CMP. Real quick.
Center Point
No,
Holdings.
no, CMP. Yeah, CMP.
I see. Okay. So now we're looking at Compass Minerals. This is a $850 million mining stock. And let's see what kind of mining they do. So you have salt, sulfate, potassium, magnesium chloride,
It's
all the good
interesting.
stuff. And this one actually, shout out to the great state of Kansas, my home state. This one's from Overland Park, Kansas. So yeah, I'm just automatically biased towards this one. So thank you for bringing this along, Wavy. Not a whole lot of companies headquartered in Kansas, so it's cool to see one here out in the wild. Well, Compass Minerals, the salt producer, and this is just a giant, not a zero pattern. This is really quite interesting, actually. So on the monthly time frame here, you have a monthly not a zero. This is a very rare thing. Usually you see this pattern play out more like on a daily time frame. But as you can see, this was the low back in 2003 it went public and it rallied, let's call it 650% over the next 5 years, and then just traded sideways. And here it found itself back in May of 2024. Spent almost a year at this level, Alfonso, whipping above and below it. And here you have a decisive resolution from that shake and bake. So,
Mhm.
man, how do you trade this? I think you just buy I think finding a target is a little bit more of a different story. So let's drop the WAP from the peak. How about that?
But what peak? The all-time highs?
This 2021 peak. This should be the most helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think for me that would be a logical target. But who knows with a thing like this, this unwind could really carry the stock much, much higher
I
than
like how
I
Tide
anticipate.
is digesting the recent gains.
Yeah, right,
Um,
Alfonso? Yeah, this thing has absolutely ripped off the bottom, and here it is just trading
this is,
sideways.
this is a classic flag pattern that we
Yeah,
have here.
yeah, this is really nice. Compass Minerals, the salt stock. I don't know how many investors out there have salt exposure in their portfolio, but if you need some of that, Compass Minerals, that'll get you done. Looks pretty nice. So how do we get involved here, Alfonso? You just buy the resolution of this little bull flag. You buy against this
Mm,
January 2024 shelf of former highs. What are you thinking?
look, I will trade that flag pattern, to be
Yeah.
honest. But I don't know. I think we can consolidate for a little bit longer. We just hit like 92 and the relative strength index. So
That is awesome. I don't know what's going on with this company, but they just ripped like, let's see, 26.2% after earnings.
no, but I think we will see some fake moves back into the range. Some sideways action. The collapse in the past in the past decade has been wild, right?
Yeah,
Money
totally.
got destroyed, and those moves, tend time to repair. So I think we can start, seeing some basing process here. But I will trade that short term pattern, to be honest. Maybe target around that VWAP. I don't hate it, but just to
This
be
was
mindful
the,
that it could fail.
yeah, totally. This was its best earnings reaction ever, was this
And of
May
course,
8th session. I mean, there's really something interesting going on here, Alfonso. Maybe they were pricing this one as a bankrupt company and now they're not. I don't know what the situation is, but as you can see on this long-term chart, a lot of people were thinking this was a zero, but it's definitely not a zero. So, Alfonso, what was your favorite chart today? We looked at a lot. For
um,
me, it was toast. I'll go first. Toast. I mean,
okay,
so
for
clean.
you, okay, the toast, I will have to say, I mean, TTWO, it's such a good chart, but I will say I will go with the UPST.
Yeah, okay.
The short
Upstart.
interest, yeah, the short interest, the VWAP, prices reclaiming that VWAP, and I like it. I think
That's
that's
my
my
favorite thing about it, Alfonso, is the VWAP is just right there.
right
So
there, man. You can jump that entry from that reversal base.
I love it. Upstart looks great. Well, everybody, thank you for being here today. I hope you enjoyed this show. If we didn't get to your ticker in the chat, please email us at questions@stockmarketmedia.com. We'll be sure to get to your ticker next episode. And yeah, we'll be here same time, same place next week and filming another episode of Chart Request Live. Alfonso, thank you for being here. I had a ton of fun talking to you today.
Thank you very much. It was very fun. A good
Yeah.
chart.
Totally. Well, that's it from us today, folks. Enjoy your day, enjoy your week. Try to get some sunshine and enjoy the summer. We'll talk to you later.
Thank you, guys.
Adios.